we dropped on 100 ton or more of rock on this site, prepping the site for equipment to come in, getting it ready to construct stuff. And we had a guy there that found what can be no more than like a couple of quarts of oil on the ground. And he's talking about removing all that 100 tons of rock to compensate for this small little spill on the 20 months. If you want to correct it, there's a 5-gallon bucket, dig it up and put it in there. It's those two extremes in those two things that I always found a little disconcerting. You can have concerns about real issues that a corporation's doing, like the hours that they've worked. Some of these guys, I think, creates a real safety issue. But you can say, on the other hand, while they're out there doing it, don't be so crazy that you inflict costs that makes them unprofitable. I don't see those two things as being something that you shouldn't be able to work through. But tend to fall one or the other extremes on this, like either let them go batshit crazy or you put a vice on them on every turn. I think there's a space in the middle that makes it work.
We're in a political reorganizing time. So yeah, it does make a little bit of sense. I think, look, my politics these days are driven by it's $4 to fill up my gas. And I have some 5 people and a dog. Like, life is expensive right now. We want to have a certain kind of life. Right? So like, I want the candidate who's talking about my stuff. I don't hear it quite yet. I'm so disaffected, Scott. I'm so over it all. It's like, whatever, nobody's in control. I'm not in control anyway.
Let me ask you something. What you just talked about your gas, do you have any thoughts about if we try and put too much regulation on the exploration of the supply side of that equation, that can actually hurt what you're trying to achieve? Not to say that there shouldn't be any, but you have to work both sides, like I was talking about our natural gas industry.
Yeah, you obviously have to work both sides, and I simultaneously also, think about alternative sources of energy and fuels. I don't think there's enough of that. I'm willing to have a mishmash of things, provided that that the greatest amount of people benefit. I guess that's really it. I'm open to all kinds of ideas to achieve that end.
You're a pragmatist.
Yeah, in some ways, I have my commitments to things I think are right and wrong and whatever, but yeah, I think outcomes really do matter.
Yeah, we may be closer aligned than a lot of people might think. I like one thing that you probably never hear too much from someone that's viewed as conservative. I think you're always going to have people within a society who have multiple reasons that's going to end up in a destitute place. I think societies should accommodate those people as a humanitarian thing. Trying to get them to move forward, but when someone is destitute, I think as society should help. I think it should be controlled. I think that the objective should be a functioning group of people trying to contribute. But the idea that we're never going to have this class of people that doesn't need our help, and on the at the same time, I think you have to have an economy that's not constrained so much that it can't generate the revenue that it requires to help those people. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, this is Alistair. I'd like to say something about this. Let me know when you're done.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think part of what I think you're talking about is developing a national ethic around the idea. You know, if there's always going to be destitute people, I agree with you, there will be. What is our responsibility to them, and how do we effectuate that? Right? Private industry can do a lot. Nonprofits, these kinds of things. Government can do some too. Yeah. Yes, Alistair.
Alistair, and my main man, candidate for Congress.
Yeah, this goes back to what you were saying, Scott, about philosophy and how you prefer that America was more like Norway. In Norway, every citizen is birthed with $400,000 in retained savings or earnings through the National Sovereign Wealth Fund. In America, when you're born, you're literally born into $400,000, individually to debt. You go to us.clock.org. So all I'm trying to say is philosophy deals with natural law. And unfortunately, because we have a corrupt financial system, we are outside of out of natural law. And that's our problem here in America. And it permeates corruption everywhere. Look at all of this SNAP fraud, all of this Medicare, Medicaid fraud. It's everywhere, and it's international in scope. We have Russians coming in and ripping us off. We got Romania. So what I'm trying to say is, if we had sound currency, and we actually had Congress people and senators with spines, we could actually try to save America by becoming more natural and actually adhering to the laws of nature and philosophy. But unfortunately, we have delusional individuals who are socialists. I know you said you're not a socialist, but the other thing is that you guys were talking about interstate commerce, and you just think America's too big. I looked it up. There's 250 countries across the earth, and 40 sovereign countries with monarchs, and that's a global community. And so I'm just trying to say, in some ways, it is one community. And if you look at the communist model versus the capitalist model, it's either 5,000 corporations or one corporation. But the whole thing rests on sound money. And until we actually can peg our currency, we're fucked. And what I'm trying to say is, we need politicians who can eliminate debt with the stroke of a wand, because it was created with a pen. And a lot of people who hold our debt overseas, they don't know that we're going to fuck them. They just don't know that yet. But politically, we will, and we have to save America. I am complete.
Let me tell you, amazing. Candidate, how is the campaign going?
It's good. I'm running for mayor of Chicago. I was removed from the ballot for Congress. And the interesting thing is, I don't expect that I'll win. But the fun thing about politics is, as a candidate, you can speak publicly. And the other thing is, when it comes down to the petitions, I can challenge the mayor who's going to run again. To me, that's the most exciting thing, is that I get to help manipulate the system, because I have the experience. And when you challenge petitions, as they accused me of fraud, well, guess what I can do as a candidate? I can actually challenge and request that the Chicago Board of Elections perform a full audit. And I am present at that audit, and I'm the one challenging. So if the mayor or other candidates try to fuck with the system by submitting illegitimate signatures, well, guess who saves the city? John Kitover. I can remove candidates from the ballot. That's a big power as a know-nothing candidate. So I know how the game works, and I love playing it. Hello?
I love it. I love that you're doing it, buddy. I love that you're doing it. I think you're a little bit of a wacko, but I like that you're, exercising your agency for the people.
John, let me ask you, what's your position on the formation of the Federal Reserve at Jekyll Island?
I don't know. To tell you the truth, it's like I think there's not a speck of dust on a place in the whole universe. So it's possible that all this growth, though artificial, is a great thing because of the unnaturalness of unsound currency. But with regards to specifically the federal, I mean, every country has a central bank. It's considered modern economic science, so to speak, to basically do inflationary spending. But you can go to Zimbabwe and look at the $100 trillion Zimbabwe notes. We are still so far ahead of Zimbabwe in terms of inflationary problems, but also we're in that digital database era where it's more about control and less about equality or freedom or fairness of currency. It is becoming a big brother type of fascist state, subversively, subconsciously, digitally. And we know from our founding fathers that this type of behavior is against philosophy, against the law. And that's what I'm saying. Philosophy is that fucking important. I read Marcus Aurelius's Meditations and I recorded myself reading it. And when I go on a power walk, I listen to it and I'm like, this is fucking brilliant. How the fuck are we so far away from this as a culture? You could go to any bang room in this clown house right now, and honestly, it's a fallen society. It's a failed society. And if you think Norway is the I mean, at some point I'm moving to Norway and I'm hooking up with a chick that's got $500,000 in the bank and I'm having a baby in Norway. Hello?
Well, philosophy does become the foundation of the social compact that we all enter into to form governments. So there has to be some philosophical intent and agreement to form any type of functional government.
Well, that's not philosophy. That's a compact and a contract. I've seen the first contract of Chicago. One guy voted no. That's me. And I'm not making this up. In the Chicago Election Commission office, there's the Charter of Chicago. There's 13 signers on the left and one guy that said no. I love the guy that said no. You know, to me, he's the hero of Chicago. Hello?
John, you're the hero of Chicago, buddy.
This is interesting.
Well, see, I try not to be boring. I'm not an ideologue. I mean, I try to have conversations that are stimulating. So,
Well, not Gary
a
Baumgarten.
rabbi on a stage, just fantastic.
Gary Baumgarten, yesterday, I created a new Clubhouse account called Earth Day, and he kicked me from the room and blocked me. So if you're putting together a Clubhouse room, but you're so paranoid that somebody just randomly decided to download Clubhouse, install it, and come to your room, and you kick them, like, that's fucking paranoia. I know he's trying to target me, but how the fuck could his intuition possibly tell him that my new burner account was me? So that's, like, to me, neurotic behavior. And that's, like, to me, like he's trying to cover his ass from being recorded and putting on anti-American hate rooms. It's just my opinion, of course. I'm just saying that some people, you know, let it go. Like, you're not going to take any of this with you to the grave. And this is all actually just an experience and a happening. But, like, that's not capitalistic to kick other people who are trying to create and be productive in conjunction with what you consider creative and productive. So, again, I think it all goes back to philosophy. And I got a picture of the Buddha in my bathroom and on it says "Let it go." You know, too many people need to learn to just let it go, and that'll solve all their conflict.
Good day, guys. This Trump bloke, right? Haven't heard much about the fucking bloke, but the things that I have heard, they're pretty bad, you know. So, what do we think about that?
Are you English?
Yeah, I am English, mate.
Could you repeat what you just said, so I'll make sure I heard it right.
Just things about like Trump and that, like the things that I've heard, he's not a very good bloke. So what's the go there?
Personally, I think the English and Australian people never evolved since 1946. And I think it's because of the war. I think because so many Australians and English people were killed, they have the lowest genetic intelligence of most populations. And I think, Kekas, your evidence to suggest that my theory could be accurate. Hello?
Oh, you Yankee fuck. Fucking you, the dumb cunts that voted Trump in, the start this bullshit. Fucking you want to shut your cunt before I come round there and fucking sort you out right now, you fucking stupid cunt. Talking shit on Australia, this is a fucking beautiful country. We're way more evolved than any of you fucking dogs. And I fucking hope you cunts all burn in hell, you fucking filthy maggots.
Again, I think
That's pretty good. Let me ask you a question though. Seriously, do you think that you guys have any kind of social problem with immigration over there? I've been seeing a lot of disturbing things, and how like if you post certain things on social media, you can be put in jail and stuff. Is that a problem where you live?
Oh yeah, mate, it's a massive problem. In Australia, there is problems, I will admit. We have a fucking government that's trying to control us all. It's a fucking bullshit situation, to be honest. But it's a pretty fucking beautiful country, and to say that we are fucking slower and fucking less cold than the rest of you is pretty fucking disrespectful, if you ask me.
it's a theory. It's a scientific theory of World War II and the 60 million that died in World War II. It's just a theory that a tremendous amount of human intelligence was wiped out, and thus we get individuals like yourself that can barely transparently say a sentence and use ad hominem nonstop. Hello?
Have you ever heard like what an Aboriginal person sounds like a nigger? Have you ever heard a nigger before?
Again, I'm just trying to say that I think you are evidence that the
talking about, you Jesus? I'll come around there and I'll blow your fucking head off. Yeah?
well, some people actually.
No use the N-word in the room. No use the N-word.
Some people get what they deserve. I'm just saying that if you sacrifice.
And to be removed.
Well, anyways, I think we proved our point. I proved my point. I do actually believe that one of the reasons why Britain or England has allowed themselves to be completely invaded by Muslim hordes is because so many of their men were wiped out in World War II. World War II is the greatest tragedy, in human history, I think, personally. I mean, I can't think of anything more insane that Europe literally just self-destructed in absolute anger and chaos, extremism. And the funniest thing is I'm going to create a movie. It's going to be called Hitler the Schmuck. And there's this film called The Dictator, where it's like all this World War II archival footage that Adolf Hitler was like recording of himself in like the same way that a social media influencer does today. And I'm just saying that like his intelligence just wasn't there. And there's a reason why he did what he did. And it's, it's just so tragic. You see all these videos of people that were wiped out in the war, and you just wonder, where was the intelligence? It just wasn't there. The awareness wasn't there. The philosophy was not there. Hello?
What do you mean the philosophy was not there? Of course it was there.
No, it wasn't there. You can see it in the videos that Hitler even shot of himself. The guy was basically high on codeine and creating Instagram videos with films and then distributing them in movie theaters. That's what the guy spent many years doing. That's not leadership. That's what many politicians are doing today. And they're not leading. They're not actually trying to do good things for their voters. Instead, they're just creating campaign videos for the next campaign. And it's all propaganda. And nobody tells the truth. Because in my opinion, most people can't even tell the truth because they don't even know the truth. Hello?
Well, part of the problems in my experience is that the electorate wants to be told things that they should inherently know are untrue. They want to make politicians Santa Claus. They don't want to be a dog when they come to considering the issues and the real truth behind the issues and what it's going to take to solve the issues. They want the easy way, and they want the politicians to facilitate it.
Well, as someone who has run, I know you're in politics, the attacks from deranged homosexual leftists on social media is definitely indicative of a mental health disorder. And these are like vicious, violent, disgusting comments that many gay men and other socialists make on social media. Again, I think it's a fallen society. I think when Caleb says, oh, we need to have national service to create a unity amongst our people, well, yeah, maybe that'll work. But I think America is already fascist and it's going to become even more fascist. And it's because the politicians are criminals and we're all just slaves to the banks. If you ever sit on a conference call between a hotel chain and a bank, and the bank owns 80%, 90% of that mortgage, the people that work at that hotel chain, they don't work for the hotel chain. They work for that fucking bank. And so banking is a great industry to be at because you're at the top of the pyramid. But there's different ways to look at society. Hey, stupid.
My name is Raja.
Oh, hey, Raja. Anyways, I'm just trying to say that I was looking at a tree the other day and I realized that we are all just leaves on a tree, and the tree is the network, the communication network between all of us, invisibly linking us. And that this is why I am very anti-Muslim, because when you study Mohammedan law, they created an in-group in the year 660. And when Muhammad's Medina Charter or his Islamic Constitution, if you ever read it, it's basically a document on how to lead a mafia organization. He is the Don Corleone of the Middle East. And I'm just trying to say that if you read the U.S. Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, etc., that is a progress in intelligence, legal jurisprudence, and the transmission of countless generations to try to create a more equitable and enlightened society. But when you read Mohammedan law, you're like, oh, fuck. And the people in 2026 are still using the Medina Charter. And the Palestinian blood money, if you kill a Jew, well, that's in the charter. It's blood money. So we're dealing with essentially a revolutionary political mind virus, which is unstoppable because it is the combination of church and state. And it's completely the opposite of us. So the war in 2026 against Islam is the same war as 770 or 880. And I'm just saying that there is still this huge legal cultural clash in the world, which is completely unresolved because there's no philosophy, on my opinion, in the Muslim state. Hello?
Can you share your views on the Israeli Epstein connection, J.P. Morgan, and the other colonizers?
See, this is what the Ummah, this is what the Muslim Ummah does, is they constantly say the Ummah is formed to repel the colonizers. Stupid. Have you seen the Bannon at Jeffrey Epstein interview? Because that interview is incredibly insightful and fascinating to see the inner workings of Jeffrey Epstein's mind. I'm trying to answer your question, stupid, but you're not listening. Hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom and put on some Chanel No. 5. I gotta go to the recording studio. Supermodels like myself shouldn't be wasting their time talking to stupid people like you.
Okay, hopefully you can avoid the...
You big stupid dummy.
Can you speak on Israel and Epstein connection? Yes or no?
I don't have time. I'm a supermodel. Stupid dummy.
Scott, it's good. You had a good space.
Yeah, notice they're running now. Yeah, clearing out now. Yeah, Israel Epstein.
I'm not clearing out because of that.
No, not you. I'm not talking about you. Can we speak on Israel Epstein before you go?
Well, I mean, go ahead. Enlighten us what your point of view is.
Well, if you say the word Israel, you should say Israel Epstein. If you say the word Epstein, you should connect Israel. You should say Epstein Israel. Anytime you mention it in a sentence, do you agree with that or not? That's my question. question. Simple question.
Well, there's a possibility. Can you draw?
Yeah, the two are directly connected.
Well,
Mossad is Israeli, and blackmail is Israeli, and control and AIPAC and Epstein. It's money and control and power. Do you want to speak to it? I mean, I don't have to go deep, do I? Or you don't see the connection, or you do see the connection? That's the simple question. Yes, I
No.
see the connection, or no, I don't. Which one?
There's a difference between.
Yes and no, it's real. It's
No,
so
hold on.
simple.
No, it doesn't say.
Oh,
There's a
wait,
difference.
well, complicated for me.
Okay, there's a difference between making an accusation and having tangible lines to draw between the two.
Yeah, he was convicted of child sex trafficking, so that's not an accusation. I didn't come up with this out of my ass. This is fact. So, speaking of the facts, do you see a connection between Israel and Epstein?
Steve, before you answer that, Steve, just know that stupid here is a white gay man living in his mom's basement, and he goes around pretending to be a black woman.
So bad.
Steve, just go do what you gotta do. Don't entertain this guy. It's a gay white guy pretending to be a black woman. It's ridiculous. You're so stupid, you big stupid dummy. Shut up.
Why are you getting so angry?
Let me ask you this.
Why are you getting so angry?
Alistair, talk normal.
Stupid, let me ask you a question.
You didn't answer mine, and you want to
Well,
ask a question.
I just want to ask you.
That's so weird.
No, because it goes to what you said.
You can't answer a yes or no question, but you want to
No.
ask a question.
No, I'm trying to have a nuanced
Only on
conversation.
Clubhouse. Only on Clubhouse.
I'm trying to have. Listen, let me ask you this. So, is it your assertion that anyone that's convicted of child sex trafficking, anyone, is connected to Mossad? Is that what you're saying?
No, and I never even mentioned that way, but you want to twist it so you don't have to answer. Do you believe there's connection between Israel and
That's what
Epstein?
you said.
Yes or no? I asked you a yes or no question. You couldn't even answer. There's no connection between Epstein and Israel. That's what you're saying? None at all, right? I'm just imagining this.
No,
So you're in denial.
no,
And
I'm
that's what
not
I
in
think.
denial.
You're in
Could
denial. And wait, one more point, and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
Most people that are in denial would let Trump sleep with their daughter in front of them while they watched. And I didn't say you're one of those. But if you can't answer yes or no, then that means you might support pedophilia.
No, what I was asking you was to draw the connection, and your response to me was he was convicted of child sex trafficking. So your contention was that a conviction of child sex trafficking makes them a Mossad agent.
Why don't you just write it in the chat? You sound so confused. So confused.
Now, I'm repeating
All right, so here's
exactly
a more
what you
simple
told
question.
me.
Have you had sex
I'm
with a child?
repeating exactly what you told me.
Well,
I'm not
let's
confused.
move on. Let's move on. Have you had sex
All
with
right.
children before? Yes or no?
None.
Oh,
No.
now you can do a yes or no. Oh, I see. So you do have conviction. Okay. But you just can't draw a connection of your conviction to others. So you hold a standard
I
other people
believe.
don't have to hold a standard.
believe-
You hold.
No,
You
what
support
I
pedophilia, yes or no?
what I'm saying is if I make an accusation, I should be able to support the accusation.
I made no accusation at all. I said, do you believe there's a connection between Israel and Epstein? Yes or no? So I don't see that me making any conviction. I just asked a simple fucking question. And for 15 minutes you avoided answering. And guess why? Because I'm sure you've touched little girls yourself. So you think it's okay. And you don't want anyone to know. So therefore, you bury it and then come out and say, I can't answer the question on the grounds that it may incriminate me. You've touched girls, and you know other men. You know other men that touch girls.
This is like the Howard Stern show right now.
Just asking a fucking question.
This is rich, Scott.
Go ahead, Steve. We're having a conversation.
This is Rich. It's really rich.
Yeah, but are we having a conversation or are you running away from it?
No, I'm not running away. I asked you a simple thing. You making the connection between Epstein and Israel.
Well, let me make it easier for you. Howard Lutnick pulled up to Epstein with his kids and his wife and said, I went for dinner, but I don't even know why I went. Do you find that weird, or do you find it strange, or do you find it...
Scott, is this the Howard Stern show? Because I expect a professional show. This is becoming unprofessional. I've got to go. I can't stand to listen to this nonsense. Have a great day, everybody. Bye. Bye, stupid. Bye, Joe. Bye, Scott. Bye, Caleb. Bye, Steve. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Leave quietly, stupid ass.
I don't see yours doing any tricks.
Scott, like I was saying earlier, I enjoyed the space.
Steve, are you running from the conversation? Don't go.
I'm not running from anything.
I cannot save you.
I asked you multiple times, and you just keep going in circles.
Yeah, but you're a grown-ass man. Do you
I see
think
no
little
point
girls?
in continuing. I see no point in going in circles with something.
Do you support men that sleep with little girls?
Absolutely not.
What do you mean,
Absolutely.
absolutely? Why not? Why not?
Because it's immoral.
Tell me how, Guru.
Immoral. Okay, now we enter a new dimension. Morality.
No, it's called philosophy, stupid. You need to learn philosophy before you start teaching morality, stupid.
In the face of a negative allegation, would resign. So morality makes them do that. For example, if a politician were accused of money laundering, they would usually resign morality. Do you feel if a politician is accused of pedophilia that morality should kick in and they say, in the face of these allegations, I hereby resign due to morality? Do you think that way, Steve, or you think
They should hang them by their balls.
Yeah, by their balls. Steve, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, Steve.
I think I should resign because of an allegation. If there's an allegation followed with proof, then yes. But I can accuse anyone of anything without some kind of tangible evidence. All it is an allegation.
Right.
That's called the law, stupid.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Stupid, let me ask you a question. If we were to make you the president of the United States, stupid, what are the top 3 things you would do for we the people? Go ahead and tell us, stupid.
Am I not just what Steve just told me? Give me a break. I'm not that smart.
It's 10 a.m. You digested 3 hours ago. Shut up.
Steve, that was so heavy. Let me digest that. Hold on.
I just want to know, do you think that Trump would hire stupid in his administration? No. Because transgenderism is over. And the fact that Dr. Levine was the head as the Surgeon General is just still to me so revolting, because that is so bizarre and weird. And when a man dresses up as a woman, whether he's in the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, or the Marines, and he demands everyone call him ma'am, and now he starts, Anyways, we don't need to go into the sordid details of the life of a transsexual man.
Steve, Grindr is sponsoring the Republican correspondence dinner, and Grindr represents male cock.
It's just a marketing campaign,
Do you
stupid.
support that, Steve? Do you support male cock? Yes or no? Another yes or no question.
What are you talking about, stupid?
Grindr is sponsoring the Republican.
Don't use Grindr, stupid. I heard that there are illegal aliens that are also using Grindr and are killing
Are you gay?
homosexual American men.
Maybe Steve is gay.
Be careful on Grindr.
You're very hilarious.
This is hilarious.
Steve, are you on Grindr? And maybe that's why you don't feel anything.
There's a lot of illegal aliens in America that use Grindr, Steve, and they're killing gay American homosexuals. It's not pleasant. It's terrorism, and we need to deport them all. I am complete.
Yeah, Grindr. This Republican dinner is brought to you by Grindr, where you can get dick in your booty. digging your booty. Yeah.
Well, this got very exciting. This is a very exciting room.
It's like the Howard Stern show, Scott. You're like the new Howard Stern at Clubhouse. I love this for you.
It is interesting that Grindr, the CEO of Grindr, is a Republican, and they are. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of
Prove that,
Republicans.
Scott. Prove it.
Oh yeah, no, it's yeah. I can
That's
show you the
public
article.
information.
Yeah, it's public information, Joe. He's.
I know, I'm asking. Where did you find it?
It was in Politico. It's a Grindr.
Oh, Politico.
Hey, Scott, but you can immediately extrapolate from that anyone that voted Republican is down with the Grindr app. That's a clear line that you can extrapolate, right?
Why does it always crash when they have Republican events, though? That's kind of weird and coincidental. Wow.
So I'm changing the pinned item to this.
So, Steve, how do you feel about digging the booty? You never answered my question.
That is such a stupid question, Steve. Don't dignify stupid with an answer.
Wow, that's just a fucking question.
A dumbass question. Wasting your time.
Oh, I never said I was smart. I never said that.
It sounds like you
So Joe,
have.
there's the link to the stuff about Grindr and the Republican Party.
Political rise. Pause. I see what you did there. Yeah. Rise. Get it? Rise.
Stupid, why did you change your name from Point to Stupid? Is it because you felt you wanted to truly express your inner self as a stupid person?
Well, I'll give you an example. For example, now, underneath my PTR actually is what I think you are, which is a stupid bozo. But rather than say that, I just wrote it underneath the PTR so you can catch the hint yourself. But because it went over your head, it proves two things. One, you're a stupid bozo, and two, you're low IQ. At the same damn time.
You said LGBTQ. I checked out. All my peers checked out. A lot of people will check out.
I hope that answers your question, Elise, or whatever your name is.
Yeah, thanks, stupid bozo. I didn't really realize that you were mocking me by having the name stupid bozo, but now I understand it. And thanks for also telling us about the gay Republicans that use Grindr, stupid. We appreciate that.
Okay, you're welcome. But actually, you're the stupid bozo, not me. My name is Raja from Pakistan. Yeah. And I'm going to open the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, I saw a PTR earlier today of Wiz Khalifa, or that big fat guy who never talks about Free Palestine, even though everybody says he should. Oh, DJ Khaled. That's DJ Khaled. I heard DJ Khaled stuck his fat ass in the Strait of Hormuz and blocked it to stop the war. Is that true?
No, he's on Grindr. He's gay.
I heard he's gay. I heard also Kanye West is gay, Barack Hussein Obama is gay, Bill Clinton is gay, and even Trump is gay. That to me was the most shocking revelation. That all these people that hate Donald Trump don't even know he's gay. If they knew he was gay, they wouldn't even hate him. Like 50% of the left would all of a sudden like Donald Trump if they knew he was actually gay and he stuck a dick in his booty. Isn't that stupid? Oh my God, you're such a stupid bozo. Stop with your bullshit, stupid.
What about Scott Bassett? He's gay too. Yeah. Okay.
He's definitely gay. He's one of the richest gays in the world, which is so exciting for the gay community. I heard he has a Grindr account under the name Carlos Danger in an homage to Anthony Weiner. It's an homage. Do you know what an homage is, stupid?
Yeah, Scott Bassett is on Grindr too. Yeah.
Do you speak French, stupid? Because my favorite French word is presence. And if you translate it into French, it sounds like puissance. You've got such incredible presence, stupid.
Put the gay flag on the money. Scott Bassett said he's going to put the gay flag on the money. Remember, he runs the treasury, so he
I
can.
know. They're coming out with the Donald Trump gold coin. Did you see that? Everybody's going to want to own one. It's going to be the greatest memorial.
Yeah, I bought it in advance.
You bought the Trump gold coin? Oh.
Yeah, a long time ago.
even better than Bitcoin. Everybody's going to want to own one. Scott, you should start shooting commercials in your Trump voice for the Trump gold coin because he's basically doing what Muammar Gaddafi did. He's going to get all of us out of the petrodollar and the fake Federal Reserve inflationary dollars and get us all the Trump gold coins. The currency is going to become Trump gold coins, everybody. Hooray!
Why does he even talk like that? What's wrong with him?
What do you mean?
What's wrong with you, sir?
I am you and you are me, stupid.
No, you. Obviously, you want to be me.
You're just a stupid bozo point. You're a gay white guy living in your mom's basement, you weigh 400 pounds, you got no job, you've never been on TV, and you're not a supermodel.
Oh, you're jealous because I'm on TV. Okay. Now I get it.
No, I'm on TV, stupid. You're just a stupid bozo. You think that people are projecting onto you and you're projecting onto them, stupid bozo, but the truth is, you're the stupid bozo. That's what projection is, stupid. You can't reverse engineer it. You can't, reverse that out, stupid. You're the stupid bozo, and you're on Grindr, and you're a gay Republican.
I'm on TV, you're not.
Aren't there any gay Republicans?
Yeah, Mike Johnson. I'm on TV, you're not, Alistair. That's why you're mad.
I'm on TV right now, stupid. You don't even know it. Because you can't see all the cameras surrounding me. And my staff of beautiful women that are helping me produce the Alistair Crowley Show. Stupid bozo.
Okay, I get it. Okay, the delusion. I get it. Okay.
It's not delusional, stupid. I got a camera and I'm recording you right now in my right hand, stupid.
Deep delusion. I get it. Okay.
That's your projection.
Republicans. Hello. Of course there are.
All I want to say is most people don't know what projection really means. And I told Caleb one time, is all communication projection? And you know what? It turns out it is. And stupid bozo here is proof that all communication is projection, spam, politics, and hypnosis. Isn't that right, stupid bozo?
There's no way you can prove that Steve is a gay Republican. So I don't think that that's fair.
Well, you just heard him earlier say that most of his contemporaries think that he's a very moderate Republican. And what you're saying is stupid, bozo, because Steve isn't gay. He's a man's man, unlike you, stupid bozo, you big dummy.
Steve can speak for himself. Go ahead, Steve, you little bitch. Go ahead. I might. Yeah, thank you.
Did you just call me a little bitch? You are a stupid bozo, really stupid.
Yeah, this is kind of debunked.
Well, Steve, this can't be your first time using Clubhouse, right? You know that Scott actually likes this. Scott, this is fun. Because the Gary Baumgarten show was so serious. They didn't have any fun in there, but Scott knows how to have fun. But the point is, Steve, if this is your... Anyways, people like the Jerry Springer show, Steve. The Howard Stern show. That's just basically what this is. There's a lot of people on here that are basically Jerry Springer. Hello?
I hate Jerry Springer.
He was the mayor of Cincinnati. He was the best mayor Cincinnati ever had.
Doesn't change that I hate him. I don't like him. I don't hate too much, but I don't like him.
Why?
Why not?
Well, what do you think Clubhouse is? That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you not like Jerry Springer, but you're on Clubhouse all the time? It's the same fucking show. Hello?
I know, right? The 24/7 Jerry Springer show.
It is.
Get on the bus.
It's a stage. This app is actually, the real name underneath Clubhouse is The Stage. It's a theatrical production of stupid bozos. Just can't, stop spamming each other with their stupid bozo thoughts. Hello?
I think Jerry Springer was decent in the beginning, Leanne. I don't know what happened to most of our leaders in those TV shows. I think they went amok.
I think.
Yeah, that too. Of course that. Or they wouldn't survive.
Well, I'm pretty sure... Some
I'm
of
good. How are you? I'm headed towards Culver, Indiana, to hang out with my peeps up there, my Republican peeps.
Oh, I agree with Steve. I don't stand with any men or stand next to any men that sleep with little girls under 14. I agree with you, Steve. And at least we share something in common and have a similar belief because that morality does not allow you.
you are one
to support
sick,
any man
stupid
that sleeps with little
bozo. Did
girls.
you just hear what this pedophile
Thank you
said?
so much, Steve.
He said that he believes that men should be able to legally sleep with girls under 14 or 15 and you're disgusting. I'm reporting you. I'm screenshotting this and reporting you right now, stupid.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Do you participate with
No,
14-year-olds?
not at all. But Steve doesn't either.
I'm reporting you, stupid bozo. Mark my words, when you come back with a party hat, stupid, that was me. I'm reporting your account right now for pederasty. Enough is enough, stupid. I'm reporting you.
Steve,
I encourage everybody to also screenshot this room and report stupid for trying to encourage people to commit pederasty. Report stupid bozo now. Mass report. I am complete.
support pedophiles. I respect that, Steve, because I feel the same way. Pedophiles should not be protected. I agree with you, Steve. Steve? Unless you change your mind. Did you change your mind?
I'm listening to what you say. It's
Well, did you
entertaining.
change your mind about what we agree on? Or you now want to go back on it? You do support men that engage in pedophilia. Which one is it, Stephen?
I don't have to be redundant.
Okay, so you're on the fence. Okay, that's what I figured.
You just pulled shit out of your ass. Well, he didn't deny it. That's interesting.
No, I initially had he was trying to make me the same.
Yes, Steve, I agree. A lot of Republican women are complicit with their men engaging in pedophilia. You're right. I know this and you know this for many, many years. Yeah. Joe, have you ever supported men?
Joe B, I want to show you my PTR. I just reported stupid for trying to encourage pedophilia on this app. I've reported you. I encourage everyone else to report stupid bozo here. A gay white man who's actually living in his mom's basement who pretends to be a black woman. I've reported you, and I expect your account to be deleted within 2 hours, stupid bozo. Farewell, and when you get your new party hat, that was me. I got you that new party hat. I hope you like it.
Joe, to answer the question, do you support men who engage in pedophilia?
No, of course not. I'm a Christian.
Look at that, his account got deleted just like that. Boop! Bye! Into the abyss where you belong. Welcome to the show, Steve!
Good morning, Steve.
That was enough for them.
Good morning. It's just Steve's on the stage.
How you doing, Steve?
I'm okay, and you?
Yeah, we've just been drugged through the gutter and back. We finally got out of it.
Okay.
There's always one in every room. The same. You know, Scott had earlier started the room and talking the
18 years in a deep dish kitchen talk.
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. I said Scott had initially initially started the room talking about Trump's dropping poll numbers. I just wondered what you were feeling about it.
I don't believe it. 90% of the polls out there, they're written to get certain answers.
Oh, Joe B, I wanted to tell you
should not back that up because I think the source should matter a lot. So I've not checked it out myself. I've been busy all day.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, Joe. That you can word a poll to kind of get what you want. I think a lot of them are worded that way.
Joe B, I was going to tell you the results came in for the congressional election, and I got 110 write-in votes, which was 0.01% of my opponent, which I think he got like 50,000 votes, and then the Democrat got 30-something thousand votes. But in 2024, in his congressional campaign, it shows that he got, I think it was 400,000 plus votes, but the database that the election commission sent me has 600,000 registered voters in the district. So I'd be very interested to see what he gets in November, because there's something with the primaries and the midterms that obviously, I guess people maybe don't come out for the primary, but I don't think that's what it actually is. I think like the database and the election commission like automatically uses voters even if they don't vote and just casts them as that Republican. There's something going on with the way that the election commission. Basically, I guess what I'm saying is their data is corrupted and out of date, and they don't do any type of like necessary cleanup, and so it's like a stagnant database that is open to corruption. So anyways, as like a mayoral candidate, I put forth a mayoral proclamation that's saying from petition to ballot, we want total transparency, and we want it on a ledger with a double entry accounting system. So it's just a thought, but just wanted to share the news with you.
I think the midterms typically have a lot lower turnout, don't they?
I mean, I think the midterms have the higher turnout, right? And the primary has the lower turnout. That's what I've witnessed, but maybe I got the words inversed. I don't know.
I'm interested to see as this thing in Iran directs on how the sentiment's going to be about it.
Everything the whole Democratic Party messaging is just to attack Trump and then cushion that with their woke agenda in lighter terms. But the whole thing is to completely focus all attention on Orange Man bad. That's all they got. They don't have solutions. And that's the thing about politics and communication and hypnosis is, unfortunately, it has been proven time and time again to work. And that's why America, and it's just it's just a tragedy and an irony that the people who want change and believe that they're voting for it are contradictorily actually voting against themselves because they're being hypnotized by this mediocre and inferior messaging, which works because they believe that they are the opposite and they are the resistance. And therefore, that type of messaging for this demographic works over and over and over and over again. It's just Boy Who Cried Wolf. But the tragedy of Boy Who Cried Wolf is it just works every single time. Hello?
I've seen the message. If it's
that's how like you tend to like lose your voice because it gets to a stage where you the leaders or whoever it is are able to manipulate the citizens to the point that even when they have done bad, they are still supported, and then at long run, I feel like does that look like generally what is happening right now, or if the people are not standing by what's good for them, if they are like doing things based on emotions and don't stand by truth always, it gets to a point where I feel they might lose their voice, and then parties like the Democrats gets to do whatever they want because they
John, what's going on, dude? Mr. Kitover. What's going on, Jeff? Hey, what's up, buddy? Hey, what's going on? Yo, I got a quick question for you. Did you use to stream on a different app with other users under the name Aeon? No, I have not. All right, I was just wondering because you kind of look familiar. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not me. All right, fair enough. Yeah, that was kind of wild last night. That dude was just, waffling really bad. Yeah, he definitely had some anger management issues. And I think an identity crisis. Yeah, a little bit. And then he was trying to separate himself from the black Hebrew Israelites, even though it sounded like he pretty much espouses the same BS. Very weird situation. But anyway, so I guess we can just talk about anything in this group? Yeah. I just came across this Bible passage, and it's not really startling to me because these are ideas that I've kind of wrestled with for a while, and they kind of conform to my experience that I've had with God, but I don't think they really conform to the expectations that most people have of God, and some people even consider it blasphemous to even talk about, but I'm going to put a Bible verse in the chat, and I want to get your kind of interpretation of it. Sure. Okay, Isaiah, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. I don't think the whole evil thing is blasphemous, if that's what you're getting at. Is that what you're getting at? Yeah, I don't think it is personally either, but I think that if you were to say that to a lot of people, that God is responsible for evil in the world, or that God transcends good and evil, I think they might take offense to that or might not fully understand that. I'm going to look up the CCC on it, see what the interpretation here is. But I do know when they refer to evil written in the Bible, it's not referring to like the evil that they're talking about in the problem of evil. They're talking about like calamity. So like a calamity would be like like a natural disaster, like for an example, like the flood.
Right.
That kind of thing. So this verse is one of those lines that sounds harsher in English than it does in its original context. The key issue is the word translated as evil in the book of Isaiah 45:7. The Hebrew word is ra, which is a broad Semitic range. It could mean moral evil, but also calamity, disaster, misfortune, or judgment. In this passage, it's not about God creating sin or moral wickedness. The CCC, the Catholic interpretation, is very clear that God does not create moral evil. Moral evil, sin, comes from the free will of the rational creatures, human beings, angels. What that verse actually means, a more precise rendering would be, I make peace, well-being, and create calamity. So the verses asserted God's total sovereignty, not moral authorship of sin. So light and darkness, symbolic of order versus disorder, peace, shalom, or evil, ra, prosperity versus calamity. God is saying there is no rival force like a dualistic good versus evil gods. I alone govern all outcomes, even judgments. Why this matters historically, this was written in a context where surrounding cultures like the Persian religion had dualism. A good God had an evil God battling each other. Isaiah rejects that outright. For an example, I think they're talking about Zoroastrianism there.
Okay.
That's the dual thing. Let me see.
Where is it talking about Zoroastrianism?
Well, like the culture surrounding these people at the time, right? So like you have the Persian religion. It doesn't specify it here, but I know what they're talking about. They're talking about Zoroastrianism,
Okay.
which kind of had this like yin and yang kind of thing. Like, good. There was a good God versus an evil God. This is like saying right out, like this is the God above that. He's the judger of all these things. Calamity and misfortune can descend upon you. But anyway, so like the Persian religion, i.e. Zoroastrianism, had dualism, a good God and an evil God battling each other. Isaiah rejects that outright. There is only one God, and even in events, as we experience as a disaster, are under his providence. In Catholic theology, the crucial distinction, God permits moral evil. He allows free will. God can directly will physical evils like disasters or judgments as a part of justice or correction, but God is not the author of sin. This lines up with the book of James 1:13, because God does not tempt anyone to be evil. The book of Genesis 50:20, God can bring good out of evil acts. So the bottom line is, Isaiah 55:47 is not saying God creates sin. It's saying God is sovereign over both prosperity and disaster. There's no competing evil deity. There's another thing here where we can get into like early church fathers, like Augustine of Hippo, and how he interpreted this. If you kind of want to use more, philosophically precise, if you want to be more philosophically precise about evil as a privation of good.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to hear what he has to say. Are you getting this from a book, or you have an app or a website?
Yeah, usually, like, if there's things that, like, I don't know about, like, I'll either go on Google and look at the catechisms of the Catholic Church, the CCC, or I'll go on, ChatGPT, just to kind of get, like, a roundabout, clear understanding, so I have, like, all the data points, like, right there in front of me, and I can actually get websites that'll take you elsewhere.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, Illumi, is there something wrong with that? Why are you laughing, dude?
Illumi is like, what is it called? ChatGPT, like, bro, it's like, I don't know what, like, as if you weren't familiar with ChatGPT.
I'm pretty familiar with what it does. It's a good aid to kind of look up information and get statistics from websites.
But the way you said ChatGPT, I don't know, maybe you might have had like a brain, processing thing, but.
Well, I have to breathe between takes, dude. Like, I gotta breathe a little bit. Is that okay? Do you want me to hold my breath and say the whole thing?
I'm just curious. So maybe I was seriously curious. Maybe you used another AI that ChatGPT was like something you could, you don't have any other AI that you prefer to use. I don't know.
Sometimes I use Grok, but so far ChatGPT's been pretty reliable, especially if you tell it to like be unbiased, for an example.
Yeah, you
can try to. Yeah. That's usually how I prompt it. I always try to prompt it to not.
Do you have you bought any of the tier memberships? Like.
No. I honestly, man, I really don't rely on this like solely. Usually, I'll go to the CCC more often than anything else on Google, but like. If it's something that you want to have like a general discussion on that overlap with other like topics, then I'll probably use this because it's actually good at gathering a bunch of sources on like one page, and then you can click on.
If you get the subscription, if you have a college email, you can get Perplexity Pro, and that's $20. So instead of $220. It's only if you have a college email. And Perplexity gives you a whole set of AIs, so it's interchangeable. And a bunch of them are in pro mode. So it's really good bang for your buck. Plus Perplexity has sonar and
I apologize, dude, but like I'm trying to expand on something for Jeff. Like I'm not a cheapskate, dude. Like if I want to sign up for the subscription, I would. I thought about it.
Really badly. That I don't understand. The patterns.
Oh.
God
Come up, Maria, come up. Let's have that conversation about the polity. You could be the first panelist coming through this room. We can have that conversation. We have Iranians on the stage as well. Satari and Mahdi. What's up, Mahdi?
Do you think maybe when everything comes back,
Mahdi called yesterday. Do I look like a killer? Do I look like this? Do I look like this? I'm like, that's stupid premise.
The state of Israel to be like dismantled and pushed by us. And he doesn't care if most Israelis don't want that. He's like, well, Palestinians should have to be part of the state as well.
Okay, I understand that people who don't want Israel to exist are all might be anti-Semitic. Because what's the reason? Like, why wouldn't you want that state to exist?
Well, someone like Timothy it's not about anti-Semitism because he thinks it's like an apartheid state, and so like just like you'd want South Africa to stop existing to be something else. But I think that the vast focusing on Israel to the exclusion of Sudan and Yemen and every other sort of human rights abuse in the world is anti-Semitism because there's no other actual explanation for why you would focus that much on this one country's crimes and to the extreme exclusion of every other country's crimes, where like there's more UN resolutions against Israel than every other like fucking shithole dictatorship combined, and that's just like not a plausible accounting of the amounts of human rights that have abuses that have happened since the UN was founded. Like that's anti-Semitism, but I don't think that Timothy is motivated by that.
Why bring it up, bro? Like, bro, AIPAC is influencing like our government more than many other lobbies are. Like, and our government is sending a lot of money over there. Like, it comes up with more policy, like from every president. It's like this isn't like a random topic where we're sticking at it, and as like from the presidents, our politicians are talking about it, they're taking money about it. Like, I hate when you do this spread hair.
Hey, the thing is, you brought up Korea, right? Like, if you were ever going to say a country shouldn't exist, like, what about North Korea? Like,
Yeah, I don't think North Korea should exactly exist as a country, so that's a good example of if a country's bad enough, it shouldn't exist anymore. But I would much prefer for North Korea to just have a new government than it to be like subsumed by China, because I think probably the Korean people have a different cultural preferences than just to be Chinese vassals or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that people want Israel to be taken over by like Lebanon or like Iran or something. I think they just want Israel to incorporate the changes that would make it democratic and equal.
Well, I don't know. So I think that the Palestinians should have their own state. I'm a two-state solution kind of guy. But why is it Israel's job to take all those people in? Not Jordan. I don't know if you guys know that Jordan used to own the West Bank, and I think Egypt used to own the Gaza Strip in the 70s, for example. So why is anyone claiming we have to dismantle Jordan so that they incorporate the Palestinians into it? You know, no one says that, and I think it's just mostly just propaganda for why you would never say something like that.
Because Israel was a settler colonial state that displaced millions of Palestinians, and as such, according to like UN resolution, they have a responsibility to take care of the people in their occupied territory, which happens to be Palestinians.
Well, first off, only 500,000 people left during the Nakba, so it's not a million. But then also, I would say that I think calling things settler colonial projects, I think, is a stupid way of thinking about Jews living in Judea. And it's like a dumb. I don't think it's colonial. I think it's arguably anti-colonial, because the only reason why Jews aren't just always. Why is there a diaspora of Jews all over the world? Well, because of Roman colonialism. So, like, arguably, it's an anti-colonial project.
No, it's not. No, it's not an anti-colonial project. The reason why there's a Jewish diaspora is because Jews chose out of their own volition to move. This had nothing to do with the Roman.
Are you serious with all this?
Bro, are you calling the destruction of the second destruction of the second?
You know, have you heard of the Bar Kokhba rebellion? Have you heard of the Jewish, have you seen the giant fucking friezes and sculptures that are in Rome of the fucking menorah taken out of the temple? There was massive killings and slaughterings and expulsions of Jews by the Romans.
2,000 years ago, bro. 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, and that's what caused Jews to leave.
I know.
This kind of argumentation, I think, is pretty bad. It's gonna identify pretty close, very soon, with blood and soil views. I know sometimes leftists make memes that are similar to this. It's Native Americans, it's their land, all Europeans go away. But no one on the left genuinely advocates that or thinks that, and everyone who would in seriousness discuss this issue would say if someone were to genuinely think the Native Americans should now advocate all white people to leave USA and for them to have the territory because of their historic right to the land, I think every informed leftist or left-leaning person would just call that blood and soil ideology and equivalent to Nazism.
I think many leftists would say they shouldn't kick every American out of the United States, but if we gave the major tribes states inside of America, that would be a reasonable request, and that the Lenapes and the Cherokees and the Iroquois should get small subsets of America to be their little country. I think a lot of leftists would support that.
Or where they live now. It's not, they wouldn't support now achieving, for them to achieve some new lands that would take away from other people, that kind of some land that we historically had is now settled by other people, and we're wanting to return that. That's called irredentism, and it's a core part of fascistic ideologies. And to base it on the historic right to the land is literally just called in political and blood and soil view.
Listen, I prefer my political ideologies now being blood and soil. I think it's a little bit naive to think that blood and soil intuitions don't play a part in people's ideas about the people, as in a lot of affects people's psychology, whether you like it or not. And then I go, okay, so if it is part of your psychology and you are thinking that, this is whose land it belongs to, who's got the blood and soil claim, well, the Jews have a very reasonable blood into that land.
So for them to achieve some new lands.
But then you would have to say also be the cause of each of the
I don't think anyone should be making that claim. Like in my country, it's like more recent. It's like, oh, you know, Serbs. It's like, you know, how much? I mean, people, Serbs and Albanians and Kosovo have been kicking each other out for like basically 200 years now. And like the final win was in the 90s, where Albanians kicked out most of the Serbs. And then like in the 2003, they had like a bit of a more persecution of Serbs, that were like a bunch of Serbs also now left into Serbia proper. And in 2008, as far as I remember, they got like their independence, and they're recognized as an independent country by like half of the UN. Like even some EU countries don't recognize it, like Spain, etc. So like there are countries who have this like weird like, well, I don't know, like maybe, you know, Serbs have the right to that because, you know, it's there historically, even though the history is so close, like it's the 90s. I still think that's like a very bad, like, you know, Nazi adjacent view for people to have. Like, of course, Spain like doesn't want to support what I think is the reasonable liberal view, because they don't want to have the president that can be used by the Basques and the Catalonians, so they can like gain independence from Spain, which I again think is a fascistic view. Like, why are you preventing? Why don't you want Catalonians to like split away from Spain or the Basques? Who cares? People should have like the right to self-determination, like on their own, on the territory that they're living. Like the past historical rights to territories, I think people should just reject it, even though it's a thing that, yeah, lots of people have in the background, meant that like psychologically is used in realpolitik in some way. It shouldn't be. We should all just reject it.
Isn't the whole notion of colonialism implicitly taking blood and soil intuitions that like the British shouldn't go into Africa because they have no claim to that part of the world? There's no reason why white people should be living in and doing stuff in Africa. It's not their land. They have no business there.
Yeah, but it's not their land, not because the Africans have a historical right to Africa, but because they're currently living there. And in order for the British to take the control there, they need to conquer the people. So like the historic rights of Africans to the land that they're living in is like totally irrelevant, and I don't think anyone should appeal to it in like being against colonialism over Africans. Like the problem with colonialism is that they're currently living there, and the current occupants are getting conquered and like suppressed. Like that's the problem.
That's a history of humanity. Is one group moving in and conquering another. I think that's why we have Europeans have white skin. Because
Which is a consequentialist argument against blood and soil use. So like, yeah, every country ever has been conquered historically. Like everything, we just keep conquering each other. So the only way to stop is like, okay, let's just stop conquering anything and accept the current state where everyone is. Okay, you live here, like, okay, live there. Like, and let's just stop conquering each other. No historical anything, because history is already conquered. Like that has like a consequentialist argument that goes against this like blood.
Because we end up in like a very big regress and also not.
I just have one more question from Sam. To Sam, how much do you think the Palestinian propaganda is a leftover of the whole Marxist origin of the Islamic Brotherhood?
Oh, I don't think it's very much that at all. Though I do think that like it is weird that there's like what's called the Green Red Alliance, where like communists and Islamists will like work together temporarily because they have this joint enemy, which is like the liberal West, and they both hate them so much that they'll like work together. But it is hilarious when this is not funny; it's pretty horrible. But like Khomeini, for example, he like worked with the communists and then slaughtered them in the 80s. There's a huge purge of communist thinkers in Iran, so like there'll be stuff like that happens. I don't know. Why would you think that it's like a Marxist thing rather than like there's a group of people that feel like their land was stolen from them and they built their entire identity about that. I feel like it's enough to motivate it. They don't need like Marxism to.
I think Marxism inflames it just because the Marxists did have that, and also Yasser Arafat was educated in Russia, Soviet Union. I think so was Khomeini, maybe. I mean, a lot of them were educated in the Soviet Union. With like, I think one of them even had a degree in, the Holocaust or whatever. I mean, I just think that there wasn't illegitimate, resentment against all these immigrants coming in, but I think it was inflamed by an ideology they accepted, or they were the battleground, the Cold War battleground.
You could say, Michaela, you could say that there is somewhat of a symbiotic relationship between certain aspects of socialism and this, right? Because they are both vehemently against the Zionist project, first of all. So that's already there. You have like common ground, but there's plenty of money being funneled towards Gaza, right? Or the Palestinian people. But Milith, actually, there's data to back this up, right? So the Social Democrats where I live, right, and I think even Bob can attest to this. They have donated massive amounts of money in order to further education, and I'm not saying that it's like nefarious. I think they did it in good faith. They've given a lot of money and time and effort in order to try to build up the Palestinian people. Right, but unfortunately, that money has not been used for the thing that it was supposed to do. Right, so that is, I think, and of course there is probably some parallel you can draw, Michaela, where it's like, you have the brown oppressed people, and then you have the white, evil Jews that's oppress them. That's probably also a dynamic that is, especially to liberals in the West, is very compelling, right? So that's what
there's a reason that they didn't accept the two-state solution. They just rejected the state of Israel from the beginning and didn't even try to form their own state. And I think that a lot of that was an ideological motivation. I think it was influenced by the times, the leftist, the Marxist stuff that was, that was going on and still is going on. But why did they not agree to form their own state? Why? Hello?
It's a good question, Michaela. But of course, also there's probably people on this is of course again milquetoast, but there were probably people in Israel as well that did not really want that to occur, right? The same way probably a lot of people on the Palestine side didn't want that either.
I wasn't aware of that is on the Israel side.
No, because I mean, our kings, the king in my country, which is he doesn't have any power anymore, but they went there in order to broker a peace deal, and he was assassinated by far right people on the Israeli side, right? So he was very popular among the super duper, conservative aspects of.
Was that Weissel?
No, that was Folke Bernadotte. He was one of he was the brother of the King of Sweden, right? So
Sweden.
Yeah,
and Sweden. Was there to broker a peace deal?
Yeah, or at least try to kind of
What year was that?
This was in early 50s, if I remember correctly, late 40s. Yeah.
Right.
So yes.
I'm a black man, and I honestly don't appreciate the title. It's just people on here and then they get comfortable talking about black men and black this, especially after what we've been through.
What have you been through?
What? I just.
I think Balin wanted to say something.
No, I'm asking him, like, what have you been through? Because, like, he says, what are you talking about the title?
I'm saying, why everybody trying to pick on black? We already be going through a lot.
How is anyone picking on you? Like, the title says, like, this is why y'all lack
But I never see a reason that says the white man lack success or access to education and shit.
Yeah, but because, like, y'all play victim a lot and y'all have excuses for why you can't, like, do anything else even though other minorities thrive, that's probably why they have the title, which is do black men lack access.
Are you a black woman?
Yeah, I am.
So why you not saying you're trying to? So why you not saying you're trying to defend us if you're a black woman?
I'm not trying to defend anything. I'm just asking, like, why are you offended by the title? Because I mean, you should like it since y'all.
What makes you assume that we don't have access to education?
Okay, so
This is racist. So why are we prejudiced?
How is it racist? Do you even know the definition of black education?
I hear that there's a systemically racist society that causes black men to have worse outcomes. Then I'm curious, well, what is part of that systemically racist society causing them to lack access to education?
No, I get you probably trying to learn
traveling with his family, stopping in new places.
We were just coming from a place of learning, not from a place of like trying
bro. I don't see too many people on here.
But there's like rooms every day that black men and women post where they're like, talking about dating and relationships and all that.
What that got to do with education though?
But because well, y'all would like make. Do you feel like there's a lack of education for like men like you?
It's not that we got lack of education. It's that we targeted by the police. That's the problem.
What the hell does targeted by the police have to do with you not going to school, with you dropping out of school? Like, what does that have to do with one of their reasons? Oh my god.
Bro, you asked me a question and you're not going to let me answer, bro. That's the problem. You never want to listen to a black man. That's the problem.
Go ahead. Black man who sounds like he has a non-American accent.
It's a question with the police target black men more. That's one of the reasons why they have a harder time accessing education. Right?
I don't see where the correlation is, like, targeted by police and you. But my whole thing is this.
But if a white man said the same shit, you believe him, right?
If you were in school and you weren't outside, like, trying to rob the local store, you wouldn't even have a reason to be arrested by the police.
So if the white
that's racist. Right. I'm black, so.
All you just want to do is overtalk a black man. That's all it is.
I'm sorry, but I literally went to a continuation school. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of
talking over me. That's the problem.
A lot of my black friends, they like would skip school. They would skip school every day. They would skip school. And then the
black man trying to talk everybody.
Guys, we need to have more order in this room. We had a really nice discussion. People are taking turns and stuff, and then we're gonna continue doing that. I want to hear Balin what you have to say about the title of the room, and then Clace, you can absolutely go after. Okay.
All right, bro.
By the way, the accent's like
What's up, Bill?
Thank you. Dude's not even American, but okay. You guys, I can hear that little weird shit.
Guys, when it is Balin's turn, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll go with that, but it's like, okay, so the title, I don't feel like it's racist. I guess they're saying that because the odds, I guess you're not black. But yeah, it's not racist. It's like a valid question. Do they feel that they have a lack of access to education? Because a lot of y'all like to make excuses for why you can't thrive in life. Like, oh, well, like how you just did right now. Like, oh, well, we have lack of access to education because police target us. Not sure where the correlation is. What would your education have to do with police? Like, are you being targeted at school by police? Like, make that make sense. I'm not gonna lie, I've been to plenty of schools, like, as I moved around a lot of black dudes, I'm sorry, like, y'all would be skipping class. Okay? Y'all would not, it's my turn, sir. I had black male friends that would, like, literally not come to school, right? So if you're, like, choosing to skip class, and then you out doing some bullshit, and then you get targeted by a cop, your ass should have been in school.
It's as simple as that. Sorry to say. And then the rare times y'all would be in class, not going to lie, it was the black dudes and the Mexican dudes. It would be black and Mexican dudes. I would be in humanities or like, English class. Y'all struggling to like read a sentence. It's taking you 10 minutes to get through one sentence. Why? Like black girls, we grew up in the same like conditions that y'all were in, yet most of us have 4 degrees than you. So what the fuck is the excuse? Because technically we get targeted by police too, right? We deal with racism. On top of the fact we deal with sexism with women. What is your excuse? There are people, and I'm gonna land on this point because I don't understand like why y'all say playing victim. There are immigrants, right? Black ones too. They come to this country, they be like thriving and stuff despite all the odds stacked against them. But you have like the Black American men who act like, oh, they can't do anything because they're black. Like, shut the hell up.
What's the explanation?
But I land.
Alright, bro. Yo, bruh. It's my turn, bro.
Was there Nate?
I said Clay could go and then everything go after Clay.
Alright. So, number one. It says right here, I did a little research while she was talking about this, and it turns out that I'm actually right about this topic. Because it said right here that black students in the U.S. are disproportionately targeted by school-based law enforcement, facing higher rates of arrest, suspension, referral to police compared to white peers, often fueling school-to-prison pipeline. Despite not misbehaving at higher rates, black students, especially girls, like you said, experience intensified surveillance. It's 15% higher than white people. So what are you talking about? Law enforcement does affect the black man's education. So stop trying to show off for a white man, and stop trying to say black men can't read a sentence, because that's a lie. Did you have a father growing up? Did you have a black father growing up?
Did you have a father growing up?
Did he know how to read a sentence?
Jail.
Did he know how to read? Exactly.
I'm just asking. I mean, because y'all be like trying to blame that too, like, oh well, he was in jail because the white man.
All right, let me keep going. All right, so.
But can I respond to that? Like, you said something about.
Bro, you had like 10 minutes to talk.
They came to these after.
I mean, you asked me a question.
It was rhetorical.
Wait.
Yo, bro, don't tell me to. Yo, that's the problem. They don't let a black man talk. That's the problem.
Actually, let Cleese talk. Secondly, let Cleese.
Yeah, go back, please. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not trying to blame like police. Obviously, I'm not saying all police is bad, but we done see what happened to George Floyd on broad daylight.
He was a crackhead, not someone who was.
All right, yo, why you keep interrupting? Yo, they always want to interrupt the black man. We don't see what happened to Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. We don't see what happened to Trayvon Martin. So it's like, you tell me black men aren't disadvantaged? What happened to Emmett Till? What happened to MLK? What happened to motherfucking Harriet Tubman? You feel me? Like, you talking about this and that. Why you be racist?
That jogging shit was justified.
Oh, hold on, bro. Why did they love interrupting a black man? That's a problem. So now we got idols. You feel me? Now we got niggas that we can look up to. Jay-Z, Kanye. We got billionaires. You feel me? And it's like, you talking about black women are highly educated. I agree with you, but stop putting the black man down just to impress the white man. But like, I don't see too many black women just like yourself trying to do that.
I'm trying to impress the white men.
Hey, hold on, let me land. Hold on, let me.
Stupid as fucking.
Let me land.
Dude, like you said that.
Those are such gay.
Let me land. I didn't interrupt her. Let me land.
Hurry up and land.
I didn't tell you to hurry up. Yo, beef. This is how you gonna control your room? You're not gonna let a black man talk?
No, go ahead, please.
Cause this title is about black men, and I'm a black man, and we got other black niggas in here. And we gonna talk today.
He's calling people racist. Okay.
Alright, cool. You done? You done, guy?
Wrapped up.
Yeah. Damn.
See the disrespect we face as black men every day.
He's a black man.
Okay, was this your speech that you just wanted to cry about?
Can I talk? You're not even letting me land though.
Then land, nigga. The fuck?
Like, what the fuck?
That's a problem. She don't be rushing white men on here.
Oh my god, he's still just complaining about me. You're not even talking about
Alright, anyways. So point being that motherfuckers gotta understand black men have the hardest life in America. We don't have that. Like you can't even argue that. We grew up in poor neighborhoods. I grew up in fucking in North Compton. You feel me? Like shit.
Get the fuck out! Stop! The fuck out!
Yo, can you mute this guy? This Asian boy. You're an Asian boy.
Just let him finish so he can land already.
Shut up! You shut up as well.
Alright. Let's move it down. Timothy, go ahead.
Thank you. God damn. I just wanted to know. Okay, what's the explanation? So you're saying that like, oh, they're lying when they say like black people are being stopped, blah blah blah. It's, systemic racism is the reason that they underperform in education, blah blah. Okay, what's your explanation? Why is it the case that black people underperform drunk Canadian women?
You talk about Clay's the drunk Canadian.
No, obviously I'm talking to you.
Why do you think Madeleine's Canadian?
I'm Canadian. I sound Canadian.
I don't know. She's like, I don't know. I was in like a room with Zephyr.
We were not.
Not a woman. She's like a
Oh, we
fortune.
were. I
get this.
I don't know why you think I'm Canadian and drunk. But
okay, no. What's explain? So why is it the case that black people underperform? Go ahead.
So I don't know if you heard what I said when it was my turn, but I kind of already answered that. And to be honest, I really don't care to have discourse with your non-American ass who is African. I'm just gonna be real here. You're African.
I reclaim my time. Shut up. Shut up.
Okay.
Shut up.
I'm not gonna just shut up. You told me to shut
the fuck. Shut up.
Wow. You're literally childish and drunk. You sound like right now.
Shut the fuck up. I reclaim my fucking time. Hello.
Are you a kid? You're telling people to shut up? Was this your argument?
Shut up.
This was your argument to tell people to shut up?
Shut up.
Alright, guys, we need something a little more decorum.
I reclaim my time.
Decorum.
What is this mistake? Are you saying you asked when you gave her a chance to speak and then you Indian gave it, where you're just taking it back?
No. First, it's not a racist, okay? It's not a native gift. They're not Indians. It's not because clearly I ceded my time. I obviously have lots of interesting things to say. Pearls to bless the stage with. I gave her an opportunity to expound on her earlier point. She doesn't want to take it. She doesn't want to speak. Okay, fine. Fuck you. My time.
So I'm not sure why you're mad at like what it is so badly, because if you were to listen, I already explained my point. I don't know why you're so fixated on me.
Shut up.
So I'm a little confused, Timothy. I'm gonna let you speak, but just a little puzzled by something like she's a neo-Nazi using a voice changer stuff in the chat going on. Like she just seems like a black woman that's sick of black men's.
Yeah, come on.
It doesn't seem
right. They always have to.
She doesn't seem like she's like full on Nazi. Like what's
and I don't even think if you know me, I don't like what does Nazi have to do with talking about the title? Like where did that even come in?
Alright, so go ahead, Timothy.
Thank you. Wait, is he not in the room? Oh fuck! You know what I was gonna do a hilarious bit. Why start giving my life story and then see how long it lasts? Like,
but can we just have people address the topic and not like censor themselves and troll right now? Because
I mean, the guy
we're not
was
talking
speaking
about
for
nothing.
shorter time than she was, quote unquote, she was.
Damn.
Like some racist nonsense like here. Like,
these are like two non-Americans that are talking racist. Like I'm the one who grew up around these crybaby black people.
So Lenny, you said what if? Okay, so I guess you're using your opinion instead of objectivity. Where's the racism in what she said? Because I'm a black man, and everything she said is exactly what happened. I was in the same class.
if you're also like an Uncle Tom type, that's fine. Like,
Whoa! Like, put it on iPad. Real shit before he was like a non-American African.
Straight to the solar plexus.
Like, first of all, y'all don't even live in the country that.
Yeah, we got Zelensky is meant to be this like progressive savior. He's calling people Uncle Tom. Black woman saying black woman.
Yo, Keith, like,
I
these are
black guys. Yeah, damn.
Yeah.
You got it. Beautiful.
It's not beautiful.
I think the term would be an antimony or something like that. Like something I'm actually good.
So here's the beautiful thing. Even an Uncle Tom is still logical than anything you're pursuing. I would rather be an racist Uncle Tom than to align with people that are nothing. Not that I am, because here are the facts. Uncle Toms do have a job and do get education and do have a better living condition than people shooting each other in the hood. Uncle Toms don't have to worry about their kid living in an area where a bullet goes to their brain.
Yeah, like if you were a racist,
It's in terms of how I mean,
that makes sense. That's like a reasonable way of approaching this.
Whoever is speaking, you're a man.
Like if you're a pedophile, you'd want to be a rich pedophile. You'd want to be Jeffrey Epstein. You don't be a pedophile.
Why are you not
successful,
empathy for
talented pedophile?
Well, I mean, the real reason is because Timothy and I have a history, and although it's Brock here now, I don't feel like mom. Because the other day I yelled at him.
I'll translate for you the real.
I screamed and cried at him and called him a bad friend. I'm trying to be have the lighter gloves today to try to balance it out. That's the factual answer. Why I'm not.
So he's allowed to interrupt people because you guys
Yeah, let me translate that for you.
I'm a woman, you know.
Let me translate that for you. Go fuck yourself.
But
so he's a troll. I got you saying.
No, but listen, he's a smart guy, but he can't.
He's not smart. I was
I'll try. I need to hold out my boy. I'll say that
one smart thing to hear.
But I think that Balin is not saying that black people aren't shit. She's saying that black men just aren't, up to snuff. They're not competing with black women, and I don't know.
Well, that's not even what I said. So to clarify what I said, I wasn't saying that. Like I never brought up no competition or the need to compete with a certain gender or race of people. Why is he allowed to interrupt? Like control this monkey, control your actions.
Oh goodness, Balin. Oh goodness, Balin. Don't interrupt Balin. I don't know why this way possibly for you that if I just think like Balin was saying, there would be this.
Yeah, this African monkey needs to be in a cage before y'all say I'm crazy. There's white people in Africa too.
What did I say? What did I say? 4chan keep it
Look at him stuttering, trying to talk shit. Just shut the fuck up. You sound stupid. Anyway, but I never said, that black men need to compete with women or anything like that. And I wasn't even saying all black men per se, because like if y'all was listening earlier, I said, okay, there's like black men who are immigrants, right? There's even black American men, right, who are thriving, who are educated, because they don't use this as an excuse that like, oh, I can't thrive, I can't do nothing because police and because of racism. It just does not make any fucking sense.
Thank you.
Like I feel like
I don't know why him and
I would wager my life you're not one of those successful black men.
Because this is like the headquarters of like victimhood.
Just because of how much of a C that you are.
Bro, you're African. Shut your bitch ass up. You're gonna be deported.
Let him go. So I am one of those that she's talking about, and I don't care.
Oh, you fucking know, liar.
Yes, I am.
Oh, you fucking know.
Bro, like, what is up with these like drunk ass fucking critics that come on here and then interrupt? You don't have anything intellectual to say. So you troll. You're not smart. So you just troll. And you're trying to, bro, you're trying to troll like an American. Shut up. Shut up. You're not smart.
Correct. Yes, I'm right.
You're not smart.
No, you're dumb. So don't continue if you're successful.
I'll continue. Okay.
You're not successful. We agree.
You are successful. Like you're.
Yeah, this is like a black crime.
This is very.
What's the black on black crime, guys? We checked out the black crime right now.
Well, he's usually giving these like intellectual and hyper progressive arguments, and now he's like, Nazi will change your Uncle Tom.
So, as I was saying before, I am the example.
They don't want this dude to talk. I don't know why they're
He's a fucking monster.
They have more respect for me rather talking loud.
I am the example. Whether you can feel like that or not, if you feel otherwise, I suggest get your trans genitals in order, because it sounds like you got a problem with it. Anyway.
Oh, nice.
So,
what did he say?
Your trans genitals need to get in order.
My trans genitals.
Moving on from whatever the fuck.
Whatever that means.
Exactly. Thank you. Moving on from whatever
cool, though.
you feel.
Y'all out here just like creating neologisms.
The issue is what exactly.
That sounds like that also.
Oh my god, I can't even hear what Isaac is saying.
Oh no, I can't hear what he's saying. That's such a huge
Talking
loss.
over people.
One mic on Isaac. One mic on
How
Isaac.
much wisdom pouring out.
Hypocrite. How fucking dare you?
One mic on Isaac.
Yeah, you criticize.
One mic on Isaac. Thank you. One mic on Isaac.
Thank you, Sam. So as I was stated before, everything she said.
I'd like to announce I'll change my name to Isaac. I have full
gotcha. Beautiful. You must be a trans man, a trans woman. Anyway, moving on. So as I was stating,
You fucked that up.
the issue is exactly what she stated, whether people in their feelings believe it or not. I was also in these same classrooms, and everything she said was correct. They skipped class, they skipped school, they would attack other children. They were the large reason why a lot of statistics at that time, between the years of 1998 and going to 2011, of why Black boys, teenagers, and young men had an extremely horrific track record when it came to education because of these particular individuals who were, unfortunately, a large percentile of Black classrooms between those years. So everything she's saying is factual. Now, she might say it is harsh or so-called racist, but then my question is, even if those things are true, where is your evidence to say that she's wrong? I'm going to help you. You don't have it. You just want to make an argument and troll because you got nothing better to do. Now, I'm an honest hypocrite. I'm going to say the United States government is the best governing part of humanity in history. That's being hypocritical, honestly. You're not doing that.
The fuck is this person saying?
You're not smart. You're proving that, you're kind of feeding into the stereotype. Are you Black, by the way?
No, Bob's not Black. I agree. This guy.
Oh, okay.
I agree.
So
This guy
I
isn't
won't
smart.
say what I was about to say, but you're not
I
smart.
agree that
If
the
you
emperor
can't
isn't
comprehend what
smart.
the guy was saying, then either you don't know basic fucking English.
Good one. Nice stuttering on top.
You're right.
I'm not stuttering.
You were stuttering.
I wasn't.
You just did it right now.
I wasn't. That's how I talk. I'm a rapper, so
The stutter is part of the
you can say
experience.
stuff twice. That's how I talk. You wouldn't understand anything about it. But anyway,
Right.
Rob.
A good one. Good style.
You're not cute enough for a Pokemon character.
How would you know? Well, your dad knows.
I would know. Yeah, I just know that you look like Sid from Ice Age. I mean, at least that's the vibe that I get. I don't know.
Well, exactly. What fucking means coming
But
out of
thank
this.
you so much, Isaac. I appreciate it, what you said, because I wasn't even trying to drag Black men by their BB's edges today. But you understand, that's why you didn't.
Yeah, thankfully the empty platitudes and incoherent yapping.
Why
Thank you.
want to be Pokemon character talking?
Thank you, bro. It's legit. It's too legit to quit.
Did we go in the same circles? You sound like an arms dealer.
Arms dealer?
Yes. You sound like you.
How does an arms dealer sound?
It sounds like you.
Oh, it's a good one.
And then
Another slam dunk.
Right? They can't even have a real conversation, so they want to troll because I doubt that
Another
the one who had a picture of an Asian
nothing.
Black men, they're arguing with us because they're not smart and so they need to troll. We're trying to have
They're not smart.
Alright, guys, enough.
Yeah, let Brett talk. You want to talk on the topic?
Yeah, so from what I'm understanding, the conversation is about access to education, not just.
That's what it says.
Okay, are you retarded or something?
Are you retarded?
Truer words were never spoken.
Alright, bud, what's up?
So this would not be about people, I don't know, wasting what education is provided. This is a conversation about whether or not there's equal access across the board. And we all know that that's not true. We understand how the American education system is set up to where it based on where you are in the country, the funding, there's drastic differences between the level of education that people get across the scale. question, right? Instead of this nonsense about, like, I guess, you know, they're trying to dance around it, but basically these other two people are saying that black people are deficient.
I guess I was never arguing that there's equal access to education. There's equal education. We all know that you get different fundings in different school districts based on the tax bracket of that town and stuff like that. That's unequal. The question is just whether you have access to education. And I think that because you have the internet and you have like basically more knowledge than the library values in your phone for the price of the internet bill, that black men have extreme access to education, and that they have more access to education than anyone in human history ever. That you have just unfathomable amounts of access to education you have, and that if a black man says I can't get an education, they're just literally lying about what in fact they have access to.
Okay, so you're just saying any form of education. So if you had a book, if everyone had a book that was about, you know, ABCs, 1, 2, 3, then that's access to education, right?
Well, because they have the letters and the numbers? No, I mean, it matters the order they're in.
Maybe that's essentially what you're saying. Like, if you just have access to some form of education, then that means...
No, I mean, you have access to more education than anyone in human history, and that you have any book you want to read, you can trivially get access to for free. Almost every professor has their lectures online. Almost anything you want to learn how to build, you can do.
None of this is true.
What are you on about, dude?
So, like, I try to get books all the time online. I try to get books all the time online that I can't get access to, and I have to go back to them. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay, well then you get better at pirating.
Hold on, wouldn't that be anybody though? Like,
have you tried going to your local library?
They're trying to like get access to something and they can't buy the book. Wouldn't that be anyone and not specifically targeted towards black men?
Yeah. But that
okay, but the topic
black men
about
their excuses.
Black men lack access to education.
That's why they date white girl.
That was suggested that there's different levels of
I
access
just
to
don't care
education.
black men sticking their dicks in, right? Like, I just don't want you crying, you know, when you get killed. But yeah, like, that's like that. You know what? I'm not even gonna go in like that. Like, we're on a specific topic. So, go ahead.
So, what I'm talking about is different levels of access to education. I mean, if the conversation is just that, well, there's education out there that's available, so then that's the end of the discussion, then, okay, then everybody has access to education. There is no conversation to be had about anything.
Well, I guess I would say is that black men overwhelmingly do have access to education. Everyone does. And then the question is, one, why would they not avail themselves of it if it's just very patently there? Now, there's a separate question of, like, the unequal access to, like, credentials, like degrees and stuff like that. And then we talk about that. And I agree that there's an inequality of that. But just education, no, I think everyone can trivially get basically any piece of information, any book, I don't know if you guys know this, you can just sit in on professors. You don't have to pay for the school. You can just literally go to a class and just sit on it. Like, I have friends who have done this. Like, you have very much access to of education. That's what you want.
Even better, and this black man speaking. Just when I used to be 2017, I used to watch the Harvard release breakdown and film lectures on biology. I watched the entire series. It's beautiful. Yeah, for anyone that actually wants an education, he is right. You can literally watch the entire lectures on all subjects: science, philosophy, politics. They're literally all on YouTube. The difference is some people are interested in, to remember, Princeton, Harvard, Yale, and a lot of other universities release this on YouTube. Other people, they go on YouTube and look up sports. That is the difference.
Okay. So,
right, or they look at their favorite, like, rap cipher.
First. So, are we not even talking about, like, the foundations also of education, like whether or not you had good access to education through your K to 12? Because if you didn't, and you're like an adult now that can barely fucking read or can't read at all, like, what would be the point of having to access, even if you were stuck in the middle of the goddamn Library of Alexandria?
But I have a question. Why would he not be knowing learn how to read as an adult? Like, is there
Because
some
you have
reason
shitty
why?
access to education.
But what are I'm confused. So are you trying to say that black males are not able to learn how to read?
If they have shitty schools where they're not being taught, then they're not going
How
to
are you
learn.
not being taught, bro? You literally get taught how to fucking read when we're in preschool. You get taught that.
That's not what.
Are you serious?
It's in every school.
Bruh, you're about to piss me the fuck off. I'm not even going to lie. What reason would you not be able to learn how to read? We're not slaves anymore. This isn't slavery. This isn't the fucking plantation where black people are not allowed to read books. You're allowed to read books now. So what reason can you not learn how to fucking read as an adult?
Why is liberty on a call?
I want a better debate partner for Mud, and someone that's just gonna like.
So then you debate him. Then. Like you're not even smart enough. Just an uneducated Haitian immigrant. You debate. Like, bruh, this is not some debate room. It's like, what are we talking about? What reason would you not be able to learn how to read as a child?
I want to get back to discussing what I was speaking on with Mud. So, Mud, if you're saying that the school is so-called responsible for the total education K through 12, you must not know the actual education guidelines and policies on what that means. No, a child in America, in this universal across most states, different states just choose how they apply it. The education, the K-12 system or the general education system in this country is not responsible for your aptitude or skill to apply the knowledge it gives you. Its job, and this is its only job, to give you a general census of an education so that when you are an adult, you are able to integrate in society. You can thank the industrialists in the 1900s for setting it up that way. I don't think it's a great system. This is what the fuck we got, though. It is not the school's job to make sure that you can read. It is the school's job to make sure that you have the ability to learn how to. Not that you're great at it, not that you actually know what the word means. That is not his job. That is not the curriculum's job. That is the teacher's job. Now, if you have a bad teacher, that is something you have to.
Is it the janitor's job?
It could be the janitor's job, but I'm not talking about that either. Yeah, it is the teacher's job to portray the curriculum so that the children understand it. The education system is.
How about the PTA meetings? Do you think those matter?
So, I would say
What's the difference between teaching you something and like allowing you to be taught?
Conversation, and please allow that to happen. The education system is not responsible for the education. That's not because I will reiterate. Understand and only listen to the words, feel nothing about the words. The education K-12 system is responsible for making a general education that can be applied to the vast entire, all of the country in a general sense. That means if you have 1 million children, 900,000 of those children are able to get this information, and whether they can use it or not is not the job of the education system. Their job is to make sure the information is applicable to 900,000 children, not the 100,000 that don't get it. That is his job. Now, when it comes to the teaching of the said information, that is the school and teacher's job. That's where you would actually have to go and fix the problem, not the education system itself.
Okay, so
Does this moron think that like schools and teachers are somehow like divorced from the education system?
I think you should sell more drugs. Please sell more drugs.
Sell drugs. I prescribe drugs. I don't sell them.
So that's good. So to make sure I'm understanding, like you said, you're saying that the schools and teachers are separate from the education system, and in arguing about access to education, well, what the fuck do you think you're saying? If you're saying
He wasn't saying very much. Just like
and feel nothing about the word.
I know, like, sir, are you?
Like he said stupid things like, well, the education system, there's a difference between that and the teachers and the schools.
I never said
Yes, you
it.
did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did, you fucking stupid idiot.
Okay, well,
When did
but
I
I have
say
a
there
question.
is a
So
difference?
why? I have a question. Why wouldn't a child have access to learn to read in school? Because you said
School is
something
not
about
teaching
adults.
That's the
Well,
school.
So you're saying that because we're talking, the title is about black guys, lack of education, right? So are you saying that the teachers in school are like specifically teaching all the other kids in the same class as the black ones how to read, but not teaching it?
There are different schools. One school
Yeah, being
is actually
an isolated combo between
Let's hear him.
I'm asking Bud a question. I don't know why y'all are like
one school is funded. They actually have like good staff that are actually doing the job.
Mm-hmm.
Another school is underfunded. They have terrible staff that are not doing the job.
That sounds like
Okay, I get that.
They're getting an education. The kids that are going to the bad school are not getting an education.
Yeah, they
That
are.
is what we're talking about.
Okay, and that's completely fine, but my question. Okay, but my
very
question.
simple.
You
And
answered
people
it,
that
sir.
that are talking about this conversation should be able to follow if they're actually educated.
Okay, but here's my question though. My issue with what you're saying is like, okay, you're talking about funded schools and underfunded schools. I hear all that, but my whole thing is like, how is it? And I'm gonna use myself as an example again. I didn't, I went to some public schools. I went to some ghetto ass schools, right? And I still knew how to read, and there was other students that knew how to read, right? But if there's some students that don't know how to read, I'm just kind of confused. Like we're in the same environment. We got access to the same education. So is it that, because the school's underfunded, they're not being taught how to read? So how is it like we learn how to read?
Kids will learn how to
nouns
read.
and all that in the same school, but like the black,
There's different.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you're babbling
Thank you,
and you're repeating yourself over and over
Okay,
again.
yeah,
So
anyway.
there are
Yeah,
different funding levels for different schools, and some schools can't keep up with things like or requirements that certain schools need.
If you're a bad troll, you're not even a smart or
Yeah, I'm a troll.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
there are different funding levels for different schools.
You don't know how to.
Oh my god. It's not a question of do people know how to read.
Well, that was my question to Mud, so.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a stupid question, and it's not related to the topic. Hey, it shouldn't be so stupid.
It is. That's what we were talking about.
It shouldn't be
We grew up in the same environment. How is it that, like, you're saying, okay, black women
should work on not being a dumb hoe.
degrees in things, but black boys aren't. It's not like they went to the special nice school over black boys.
Shorty, everybody understands your argument. You don't need to
Okay, so answer the question. Explain how that
shut
works.
the fuck up, I can answer.
I mean, I was
So
not.
I'll let you just
Ollie was in the middle of saying something. Yeah. So there's there are situations
I thought Ollie
where you
was in the
might
middle of saying
No,
something.
No, it was going back and forth with Mud and the lady.
Answering the question, like I was done.
Yeah, sure, Mud.
Yeah, Millet and Bob, the two weird
Yeah, they
trolls.
jumped in.
Okay. So there are situations, for instance, where you might have two kids going to the same school. But
He's making the same point again. Can you just finish? Like, what is up with you?
I didn't even get the whole goddamn sentence out. So they might have families. So my parents might be educated, and they might take the time to read and give me the foundation so that when I go to school, I can easily pick the shit up damn near on my own.